if they need to. We don't want them to just handball it. So, tell the client that they're just going to, because we're not a retail builder or a wholesaler, and they need to do the work, obviously, and the groundwork.
Yeah, because I would say that they would get the expression of interest form back to you, make sure the finance is all good and you've got all the information you need, and then go through it with the clients once the contract's organized. Do you normally do everything via DocuSign?
Adobe Sign, so very similar
thing.
Yeah.
And I think that as long as they understand that process and everything else, in regards to the display homes and all that sort of stuff, we're not using them ourselves very much anyway with any other developer. So it's sort of dropped off dramatically because of COVID. Like, nobody's really using them anymore. So, well, that's nice to know that you are going to have one next year. And
we will film them. So what we'll do is we will film them as a walkthrough in a digital format so that the client can walk through it, but obviously from the leisure of their own home in front of a computer. But what we might do is we might step out an email of the process just so the agent is aware. We also do have an onboarding pack that we can send you. So the training tools for the agents are this video, but also the onboarding pack will answer any questions. We've got a frequently asked questions section so the agent can look up any questions that they may need to know the answer to. And also it steps out the process just so they're aware of it.
I'm with you. The other thing I was going to ask you is, have you got any virtual tours available? When you've got like a finished product, you've taken photographs and you've got a virtual tour, like a 3D tour. Have you got any of those made up?
Just the one that's on the end of the brochure.
Yeah, just the walkthrough video. Yeah,
that's good enough. We're planning to do webinars for investors, so we're trying to make sure that we've got virtual tours basically, so we can go, this is lot number 26 with this particular developer, such and such, the yield is this, here's a virtual tour, so they can see it basically. So video, that's fine, we can put that on.
Something we also do, Guy, with a lot of our groups is Vanessa and I often jump on a webinar, so they will structure a webinar and then we might be the special guest. So some of them do builder or project specific. In this case, obviously, it would be builder specific. So we could prepare in preparation of the webinar, I don't know, a handful of different house and land packages at really competitive prices across Metro Melbourne. And then we can present that. So you and your team can do the return on investment, more the analysis on how it stacks. We can come in and present the product. And then you might have the brokers that will finish off with assessing any type of criteria.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's good. I think we're starting to get it set up so we do probably one a week, and then we'll invite different builders, and if you want to come into it, you can do and stuff like that. But
definitely,
we've got a massive database that we haven't really, we don't do newsletters every 5 minutes and irritate people with stuff that they know. But we don't do all that sort of stuff. So it'll be people that it's invite only. So let's say the last 100 leads that came in, we'll contact them and say, look, there's a webinar about the property that you've inquired on or in that area. Would you like to join? And it's invite only then. So we'll do it this week, and then we'll also push it out to the masses down the track and see if we can draw in a bigger crowd of people. But we'll have to play it by ear. I've not done it before. Like I was going to do seminars. I started to do seminars and stuff like that before COVID happened.
Yes.
Got somebody lined up as a speaker and everything else, because I didn't really want to go on stage and talk to people, but because of COVID, it all went out the window. So now we've got a marketing development guy, and he's setting up the webinars and he's putting it all together, and he knows how to do all that stuff. Like
great.
Stuff, that kind of thing. So we'll let you know once he's finished it. We'll let you know, and we'll be in touch. And then if you want to come on it, you're welcome to come on it. I don't think you can do it every week or anything, but but it'll be there if you want it anyway. So
okay, awesome.
Cool. I think we've got a marketing agreement already signed up. We did that a couple of weeks back, I believe.
Yeah.
And we spoke about how it would work, where the payment would come to you, and then you deal with it how you please in terms of your contractor, your agent.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of next steps, what do you need from us? How do you want this relationship, I guess, to work?
I think the main thing is that we get the stock list up to date as often as possible. I think you're very good at doing that anyway. I don't think there's any issues there.
Yeah, every Monday, Tuesday, it's updated.
Yeah, I think what might be a good idea is as I say, it's an ongoing process with recruiting the agents. What if they're relatively new or green or what have you? I think it might be a good idea if they're local to you for them to come and meet with you directly and sit down and have a chat with you and introduce themselves. Because then what I find is that when I meet with a developer face to face and I actually go and see what they're building, I get a better understanding for it, but I'm also emotionally invested in what it is that I'm selling. So I think a lot of the time with these agents, we bring them on, we train them up. But I think what's probably lacking is that they haven't built that relationship with the developer. And I think that's the thing that needs to be worked on. And because of COVID, everybody's been at arm's length for a long time. Whereas I think that they can start to build relationships. So I would probably say that I will give them your details and tell them to introduce themselves and then maybe come and see you face to face so they can have a look at what you're doing. And then that way, when they are talking to a client, they're more invested in that sale because they understand your background and who you are, and they built that rapport with you so they can then pass that on to the client. You know what I mean? They're more emotionally invested in getting the deal done because they want to work well because they built that relationship with you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. More than happy to facilitate. Absolutely.
Another thing that we would love to send through, Vanessa will send it through to you, is that we have just released a bit of an incentive program, which we think is very attractive. We do it with some of our other groups. And this incentive is to be targeted directly at the individual salesperson that actually executes the sale. And we'll circulate the terms and conditions of it. But basically what it is that any sale that is contracted between now and the end of September, a $1,500 Visa gift card voucher will go directly to the salesperson.
Nice.
So a couple of our groups that it works really well with, if they're doing 3 or 4 deals a month, all of a sudden, they've got access to $6,000 worth of vouchers they can use for travel, they can use for groceries, petrol, bills, you name it. Yeah. And we often find that it's nicer than the commission that we all get taxed on a substantial amount. So it's a nice little incentive. There is an email that Vanessa will circulate to you. You can forward that on to all of your individual agents, and we find it just kind of keeps them a bit more motivated.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good. And your plans for the future at the moment, so you're in Victoria. Are you planning to go anywhere else, or are you sticking with Victoria for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I think, at the minute it is Victoria. We've got a great relationship with all of our land developers here in these major estates across Metro Melbourne, being the southeast, the west and the north. So we really do like to leverage that and make sure that we're getting great land at great prices and keeping this package as affordable and competitive. I
think with you being a bit more boutique, it's probably a softly approach and build the business up, and then if you wanted to go into New South Wales or anywhere else or even Queensland, you could do it at a later date. But I've seen other builders come and go where they have overstretched themselves and they decided to try and be everywhere all at once, and then they haven't got they haven't really got the infrastructures to cope with it.
Especially even a lot of local ones, Guy, like they're struggling in regional. What they don't realise is that if you've got 100 jobs out in regional, it's really hard to get good trades that stay. Often those trades that are in regional, they're transactional, right? They don't live there. They go up there to do, 6 months worth of work and then they leave. So they're constantly getting new trades. And it's just something that we've noticed in the last 5 years. We haven't really had as much of a hit during COVID, even like most builders have had, because we've got a really great business model and a foundation which we don't overexceed. Yeah.
What I like as well is I like all the high-tech stuff as well. I like all the gadgets.
Yeah, we do too.
That's a big selling point. If it's coming with cameras and special mailboxes and all sorts of stuff like that, that's really good. In the 21st century, it's pretty cool that you've got all that stuff from day one. It's good.
It attracts a better tenant as well. Like, it's great for an investor to have that. It attracts a better tenant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I,
raise that value.
Yeah.
the warranty as well on all the appliances and stuff is a lot longer, which is good as well. So it is geared up for investors. So I think, yeah. Are the yields pretty good with most of the stuff that you've got at the moment?
Yeah, look, we tend to package. So Vanessa and I and the rest of the team do a lot of work in the background and make sure that we get good deals. I mean, something that Vanessa did last week, which you'll never see a builder do in this space, is she was on the phone calling around to find a block of land to meet a package price for one of our channels who needed a price point of 515 to 520. Now, in Victoria, it's almost impossible to find. But she was on the phone, found a private block of land that had been nominated and was able to put together a package at 518, 450. Well, that channel couldn't find anything for under 600,000 in the area that they were looking. And off they went. You know, they signed it, secured it, and they got a deal. So you're going to find that a lot of agents and groups who want to deal with builders, that, their team are really out there proactively trying to get the best deal and not just circulating a stock list and hoping for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, we have a lot of that. We have a lot of people that it's a mixed bag where you get a lead will come in and for some reason they seem to think sometimes it's an existing property, even though it looks like an existing property. But the general public go, "Oh yeah, can I go and have a look at it?" And we're like, "Well, no, because it doesn't exist yet."
Sure.
The time machine, you can go and have a look at it. You can go into the future. So we're sort of bouncing around the whole. Using a buyer's agent to find them an existing property if there's pretty much set on they want an existing property, but then we're also trying to say to them, look, if there's nothing there, which 9 times out of 10 there isn't, within that price budget in that location, then I suggest you go back to looking at having something built. So it depends on the situation. So we'll always try and steer them back to a new build, and we'll try and say to them, look, there's a lot of benefits to having something that's brand new over something that's existing. But yeah, you'd be surprised how many people that we get that think, even though it's a computer generated photograph,
Yes.
they still think it's a real thing.
Yes.
So
and it's also important to let the agents know if there is nothing on the stock list, please still send an email to Vanessa to say, I know you've got nothing at, 520 on your stock list. Is there anything that you can package up? And we'll go out and source them something almost like a semi-buyer's advocate in the house and land space.
Yeah, I think that's good because I have people in different parts of the country that I call fixers, which is where something comes in and it might be an old advert and it hasn't been deleted yet or something like that. Somebody wants to buy something. We haven't got it anymore. And then we'll put it out to a couple of people that we know work with multiple builders and developers, and they also source land and stuff like that to try and find something. So anytime we get a builder or a developer that is able to go the extra mile, because as you say, a lot of them do just send a stock list and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So every time we get anybody who think, oh well, they might help with this one, then we always give that referral back to them and work with them. Because as I say, there's a lot of builders out there. It's just a stock list. Lots of luck. Bye-bye.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, we're not that.
No.
Cool.
Yeah, send us any inquiry that comes through. More than happy to hunt for it. Like I said, we've got the relationships pretty cemented. So it's not too far of a stretch for us to do a couple calls and see what we can find.
Yeah, happy days. Cool.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for recording the call and the presentation today. That'll be very helpful. That will, because as I